Friends, the geopolitical situation in Indo-Pacific has changed more than what everybody is anticipating. When President Trump went to Beijing, he met a reality check in a manner that his White House trap met with a Thucydides trap. His deal making met a warning from Taiwan. Now that's the reality. And let me strategically decode and analyze it well beyond what is the optics of the media. If you have to look at the media news, all it says is that a red line was given to Trump, that Taiwan is not negotiable, and they have to manage relations well as far as Taiwan is concerned, and it can lead to confrontation and maybe conflict too in case USA doesn't behave. The second part is important, that he has remained silent. Number two, he paused the arms sale to Taiwan. Number three, he mentioned that he's not going to go and fight 9,500 kilometers. He's also indicated that Taiwan should maintain status quo and should not declare independence. Now, these are the signs which indicate as to where America is heading for. And let me now come to the bigger picture part of it. See, it is a Cold War 2.0 between America and China. Earlier Cold War 1.0 between America and USSR had a different dimension because the economic dependence between these two blocs was not that strong. In this particular case, the economic dependence is tremendous. And therefore, even when President Trump hiked the tariffs and Chinese stopped the supply of the magnets, I think President came down to Mother Earth in no time. So, as of now, the situation is that they have to coexist. They cannot confront. The rivalry will remain, but I don't think they are going to go to war with each other by any stretch of imagination, at least for quite some time. The second major issue is that it's not going to be a purely bipolar world. It's also not going to be a purely multipolar world, because the power dimensions of various other countries are far too at variance than what these two countries have. Also, the kind of the alliance systems which are breaking and not showing any kind of strength is also a factor wherein perhaps most of the countries will be fending for their own. The third important factor is that as far as the strategies of these two countries are concerned, America feels that they should be the superpower, and their strategy is that everybody who challenges us must be cut down to size. And obviously it is America first, not only America first, America only, and exclusivity. As far as Chinese are concerned, their strategy is slightly different. They also want to dominate the world, but their strategy is don't kill the market in which you have to sell, because you can grow only if that market is alive. So they are not out to dismantle any country, whether it's a terrorist country or it is a country with whatever kind of government it has. So China is not interested in any kind of policing role, but they are interested in their own development and their own economic progress. So that's a major difference between the two. Then comes the issue of the moral logic. President Trump has broken all kinds of rule-based orders and in conjunction with Netanyahu in recent time. And in comparison, I think China seems to be slightly better off, although they have also, their 9-dash line has got no significance and it is also a violation of a rule-based order. And same is the claim on Taiwan. But if we have to compare the security concerns of the two countries, if USA can say that Greenland is my security concern, Canada is my security concern, Panama is my security concern, Venezuela is my security concern, Iran is my security concern, then certainly China will say that Taiwan is situated next or the first island chain of mine and is constricting my movement, and therefore it is my security concern. So therefore, in comparative terms, I don't think US has now retained any kind of moral right to give any moral lectures to any country in the world as far as the security concerns are concerned. Then comes the issue of a realization, which perhaps the Americans are now realizing, and that is the significance of geography. Now we saw what happened in Iran war, and the Strait of Hormuz has become a force multiplier for Iran, which has dismantled all kinds of strategic equations which America had. So that's one part of it. Now a similar situation exists. Taiwan Strait is much more dominated by China. Same is the case with South China Sea. In these areas, the land-based assets of China are very much effective, and therefore the overall power equation of USA doesn't match China in this particular area. Although USA has the strongest military, and if they have to contest anywhere outside South China Sea, maybe somewhere around Indian Ocean or Pacific Ocean or Atlantic Ocean, maybe USA may have an upper edge. But when it comes to South China Sea, Taiwan, and around, there is no way that they have an upper edge. Although CSIS and all American think tanks, they keep doing wargaming, and at the end of the day they say that okay, the war will happen and at the end of the day America will be a winner. But that's a narrative war which they continue playing every time. But that notwithstanding, the fact is there is a combat power ratio change in the region in which we are talking about, and in that I think there is a fair amount of indicators that it is going in favor of China. Then comes the question of the geography. Yes, although China has made a claim, China has also warned USA, but this does not mean that China is going to actually capture Taiwan, because there are certain costs, there are certain implications, and even Taiwan has a geography which perhaps may not suit China very well, in a manner that it's also a mountainous country. There are very few, shall I say, very few the landing zones, and they are very well guarded. They have a Parco-Point defense. They have got a whole lot of other assets. They've got fair amount of military assets as well, and modern ones. So it's not going to be an easy task. But what China can do is the case of blockade. And blockade, as well as maybe some of the islands which are nearer China, they can also be captured. Now, these are the capabilities which China has very much. At the same time, when it comes to blockade, although US can keep saying that, okay, blockade is illegal, but they have put the blockade, they have put a blockade on Cuba, they put a blockade on Venezuela. So obviously, I don't think they are in a position to tell anybody else, why are you putting a blockade? So obviously, when China puts a blockade on Taiwan, I don't think there is very much which they can do about it. Similarly, when we look at under these circumstances, maybe I think there is a very strong reason why Japan, South Korea, as well as Taiwan need to be worried, because Taiwan has all the ingredients of an independent country, although not declared one. But notwithstanding that, if President Trump is ready to bargain on Taiwan, then maybe Taiwan has an uncomfortable future in that context. Also, now when we look at the other countries, including India, this Cold War 2.0 is going to continue. As far as we are concerned, I think we need technology from USA. We also need raw material from China. We also need oil from Gulf. We also need a whole lot of other things from various countries. So I think the multi-engagement which we are doing, I think it makes all the sense. And in this Cold War 2.0, I don't think it makes any sense for countries like us to take any side. Under Trump, I think even all the forums which we are in, whether it is Quad or it is all other kinds of forums, everything is a question mark, because one doesn't know as to how he is going to behave as he progresses, considering his mood swing and his erratic decisions and the implications of those erratic decisions, as has happened in case of Iran. Thank you very much.